Hi everybody, welcome back to our Power School learning page and your remote learning environment. This video is going to describe what today's lesson is and also what today's assignment is. So this lesson is going to be for Thursday, March 19th, and the assignment is also going to be due tomorrow, Thursday, March 19th. Okay, may be able to extend that a little bit, but as of right now, that's when it's going to be due. Okay, so if you don't remember how to get to Power School Learning, all you need to do is go to the Merrimack School District homepage. Okay, mine will look a little bit different than yours just because I'm a teacher. I have this nice teacher toolbox right here, but you should be able to click on this button right here and it should bring you to Power School Learning. Okay. So if I go back, this is our class page. So this is Foundations Biology. Right here is the name of our class, and the 5 right here indicates that we are normally a 5th period class, but right now there's no real schedule, so you can kind of ignore that. Okay, so if you watched this video, which you should have, this explains what we're going to be doing in Power School Learning and how to use it. So, as I mentioned in this video, every time you come on Power School Learning from now on, you're always going to go to this page right here, Today in Biology. So if it happens to look like this, all you have to do is click that little arrow right there and then click Today in Biology, which is the page that we're already on, okay? So once I get to this page, I'm going to want to scroll down to the calendar, which is right about here, all right? So I'm going to click on the 19th because that is what day this lesson is going to happen, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on School Closure Lesson, March 19th, 2020. And anytime you see School Closure Lesson, that's going to give you the details of what you're going to be doing for that day. So the description for this lesson is that students will watch the video provided, which is this video right now that I'm talking in, regarding notes on the cell cycle and mitosis. Students will also need to fill in notes provided to them on the actual assignment for this lesson, okay? So there is going to be an assignment due. So the details of this assignment are that you will watch the lecture provided, which is this one, and the cells on the cell cycle and mitosis. Students will then use the cell cycle and mitosis fill-in notes, which are attached below right here, to fill in the answers on the PowerPoint provided during the lecture. Students should upload their completed PowerPoint by clicking on the Upload a File button. This assignment is worth 10 points and is due on March 19th at 11:59 p.m. Okay? So what I'm going to do is click on this. Oh, it's not available yet, but I have it. Hopefully it'll be available to you tomorrow. But if you were to click on that link right there, maybe it's this one, it'll bring you to this document, okay? So this document is a PowerPoint, and hopefully I've allowed you to edit it. I think you'll be able to. So you'll be able to kind of download your own copy, I believe. And this is the lecture that we're going to be doing today, okay? So we're only going to do part of the lecture. I'm not going to do the full thing today. And then we'll continue the rest of this lecture on Friday. All right, so this lecture is on the cell cycle and mitosis. And at some point during this PowerPoint, let me scroll down, you'll see that when we get to the phases of mitosis, there'll be places where you have to fill in the answers to these. And so I'm actually going to be providing those to you as we go, and you'll be able to fill them in on your own notes. So I'm going to fill them in, and as I fill them in, you should also fill them in too on your document, okay? So I'm just going to start the lecture right now, and we'll maybe get to prophase right here, so about 8 slides, and then we'll do the rest of the slides, so slides 9 through 15 due for Friday. So we're going to break this up into reasonable chunks. Also to note, You can always reach me through my email, which is jenna.deshane@sau26.org if you have questions. If you need me to extend the due date of the assignment, which is totally okay, and any other questions that you might have. So please just email me. That's going to be the easiest way to do this. So if you're unable to actually submit the assignment on PowerSchool Learning because there's going to be a button that says upload a file, and that's where you're going to upload your completed PowerPoint notes. If you're unable to upload it to PowerSchool Learning because it's being a little difficult right now, that's okay. You can always just email it to me. So hopefully we can all make this work. Also, if you need paper copies of assignments, please just reach out to me or reach out to guidance because I can coordinate making paper copies for you to pick up. Okay? But most of this is going to be online for the time being. So we'll make do with what we got. All right, so now getting into the lecture. We've been talking a lot about the cell cycle and also about mitosis. So we talked about in class how cells, the cells in your body, whether it's a brain cell or a stomach cell or a blood cell, have a certain life cycle that they go through. They're just like humans, all right? So they kind of start out younger and then eventually they start to grow older and become more specialized and perform their different functions. And then eventually cells can also die like humans can. So a little bit morbid, but it is true. All right. So the cell cycle is just a sequence of growth and division. Okay. So your cells are growing and then they actually divide. Okay. So that's how they reproduce themselves is through cell division. All right. And the three different stages of the cell cycle are called interphase, which is this right here, mitosis, and cytokinesis. So we'll get into what those mean pretty soon. So at this point, you wouldn't have to fill anything in. So right now, all your job is to just listen and watch. All right. So the first stage of mitosis is a very long stage of mitosis. It's pretty much the cell is just relaxing. It's kind of doing its thing. Um, It's just performing its normal functions. So if it's a brain cell, it might be helping you move your arm or your leg. Or if it's a stomach cell, it's going to be helping digest your food. It's just doing its regular old thing, okay? But before cells go into this second stage of the cell cycle called mitosis, they need to make a copy of their DNA right here. Make a copy of their DNA, all right? So your DNA has all the genetic material and it makes you you. So the reason that I have maybe blonde hair and green eyes is because of my DNA, okay? And all or most of the cells in your body have DNA. And so when they create new cells, they need to pass on that DNA to the new cells. So it's during interphase that they actually make a copy of their DNA to pass on, okay? Then the second stage of mitosis, which we're going to talk about today, or second stage of interphase, is called mitosis. And that's where the cell actually divides and creates new cells. Okay, so we'll go over the stages of mitosis in just a sec. And then the last stage of the cell cycle is this cool process called cytokinesis. Okay, it's a crazy word, but pretty much what it means is cyto means cytoplasm, which is the inside material of a cell, and kinesis means to split. So all that means is that the cell is just splitting. So this is an actual image, or hopefully maybe you can see a little better like that, of what looks like an animal cell dividing into two. So that right there is the actual cytokinesis of the cell. Okay? So in animal cells, it kind of squeezes, and then the cells kind of form two new cells, and we'll go over what happens in cytokinesis in plant cells. So this is just an overview of the cell cycle. We've actually done this activity and labeled it all together, so you should be familiar with this. Should be in your notes if you have them. If you don't have them, I can give you copies because I know some of you keep most of your stuff at school now that I think about it. So I will try to get that to you ASAP. All right, so now comes the point where you're going to want to fill in these notes. All right, so we're going to go over the different phases of mitosis or cell division. Okay, so what is going to happen in each stage? The first stage of mitosis is called prophase. So this is where, so just like I'm filling this in right now, that's what you're going to want to do on this PowerPoint. So if you have to print it out, or if you are just typing this online, you can just type it like I did, okay? The second stage of mitosis is called metaphase. Whoops. The third phase is called anaphase. And the last one is called telophase. Sometimes it's hard to remember the 4 phases of mitosis, but the way I like to remember it is just the first letter of each of the stages, which is P, M, A, and T, also known as PMAT. So if you can remember PMAT, then you'll know the 4 stages of mitosis, okay? So we are going to talk about prophase, and then we're going to stop. So all your job is to fill out what I just did, and then for 2 more slides, and that's going to be it for today, okay? So prophase is the first phase of mitosis, okay? And so this is what the cell is doing to get ready to divide and form a new cell, okay? So this is a very long phase of mitosis, and in this phase, there's this material called chromatin. So make sure that you fill that in. I'm going to highlight this so that you know that this goes here, okay? So all chromatin is kind of like a bowl of spaghetti, all right? That's what your DNA really looks like before it gets organized during mitosis. So you kind of think of chromatin as just like DNA spaghetti. I know that you guys love those kinds of different things that we've talked about, like the armless mics for the cell membrane. I don't know where you guys come up with this stuff, but it's fine. All right. And then what the chromatin, or that kind of spaghetti-like material, is going to do is form chromosomes. Okay? So these chromosomes look just like this right here. Okay? So a chromosome is just an organized structure of DNA. All right? It kind of looks like an X, like this. All right? So all of this structure contains your DNA, what makes you, you, all right? And that is going to happen in the nucleus, or the center, the control center of your cells, okay? So this is the chromosome, all right? And each chromosome consists of a pair of what are called sister chromatids. Why are they not called brother chromatids? Not quite sure why, but that's all right. Sister chromatids, okay? So right here, this yellow part of the chromosome right here is a sister chromatid, and this blue part is the other sister chromatid, okay? And they are kind of joined together at the center of the chromosome, and that's called the centromere. Whoops, centromere, okay? Whoops, centromere, just like that, all right? So sister chromatid, and centromere all make up this chromosome. All right, so we'll do one more slide and then we will be done for this lesson. So prophase is a very long phase of mitosis, so it's gonna get an extra slide because it's so long. All right, so what happens is during mitosis, your cells really need to gain access to that DNA, but it's kind of hard to get access to the DNA because the DNA is surrounded by the nucleus, all right? So there's a membrane or a barrier between the DNA and the rest of the cell. So what's going to happen is the center of the nucleus, called the nucleolus, is going to disappear, okay? No one really knows how or why. It kind of just vanishes, all right? So that very center of the cell kind of disappears so that your cells can get access to that DNA, all right? So your cells also stop making ribosomes, so they're going to stop making proteins. And a football-shaped structure called the mitotic spindle, I'm really good at spelling, forms, okay? So the mitotic spindle is this whole structure right here, all right? So think about the mitotic spindle as what's going to happen is when your DNA starts to form these chromosome structures right here, your cells are going to want to create this rope-like material, okay? And that rope-like material is meant to kind of attach to the chromosome and pull it towards one side of the cell, okay? So even you can see right here that this rope-like material is coming out. Those are the black lines, is the rope. And eventually they're going to lasso and kind of latch onto the chromosomes, okay? And the reason why they do that is because eventually they're going to pull those chromosomes towards the other side. So if you picture yourself in our classroom right now, each one of you is a chromosome. And normally when we sit in class, you guys are at separate tables. And so let's say that Miss Stumpf, Miss Esborn, and myself, our teachers in our room, are trying to get you organized so that we can divide the cell or our classroom. We're going to take some rope and we're going to lasso you guys up and then pull you eventually towards us. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Not actually happen, but that's kind of what happens in the cell. And I'll be able to explain that a little better once we get into the other phases of mitosis. Okay? So the spindle or the rope that I was just referring to starts tugging chromosomes towards the center of the cell. Okay? So if you picture our classroom again, you guys are chromosomes. I'm lassoing you and I'm pulling you from your tables to the very center of the classroom because I want you guys to be organized, which usually is very important in our classroom. So, okay, so I'm going to stop there. So anything that you need to fill in, okay, you can just kind of rewind this video and watch it if you need to, okay? But we only filled in things on 3 slides, and then tomorrow we're going to be filling in slides 10 through 15 together, okay? So that is going to be it for this lesson, all right? Make sure to keep an eye out on PowerSchool Learning every single day. And if you need copies of things, please just let me know because I can get those to you as soon as possible. So that's going to be it for today's lesson, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon. Make sure you stay healthy.